Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you may be listening to us, we hope it is good. Welcome to another episode of Geeks Who Like Sports, episode number 20, our pre-PAX episode. This is fantastic. As always, I'm Ray Carcillo, joined by my best buddy over in Philadelphia, Lee Elias. Lee, how's it going today?
Lee's doing good over here in Philadelphia today, Ray. I got to tell you why. The temperature is finally dipped. My favorite day of the year, if I had to pick a favorite day, that's like not a birthday or something stupid like that, is that first day at the end of the summer or towards the end of the summer where you get that kind of twinge of cool or cold. You know, you walk outside the first day and it's like, oh, it's not, I might need a long sleeve T-shirt for a few minutes here. That's my favorite day because it means hockey season, football season, basketball season, not baseball season, is among us. With that said, disclaimer, don't have any problem with baseball. Just hate the offseason. That's what I call baseball season, is the offseason. Love baseball. Anyway, Ray, I gotta compliment you real quick. I gotta let you know that was an amazing open for someone who hasn't slept in 6 weeks.
Yeah. Thanks.
That's pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah, Ray is up at all hours of the day, depending on what time zone you're in. He's up. That's the kind of like the slogan that I've come up with. But that was very energetic. I'm also drinking out of, as we're going to get into the show today, I'm drinking out of my Star Wars mug today, as a Star Wars Rise of Skywalker trailer was released today. We'll get into my thoughts on that. I'm not super excited about that trailer. It's actually a Rogue One mug, but Star Wars. So anyway, Ray, to answer your question, I'm good.
Awesome. Fantastic. I am glad, buddy. Yes, we've got a big jam-packed show for you today as we get ready for PAX. PAX, of course, we will be at PAX this Friday. 9:30 p.m. is our panel. We're getting everything ready. We've already sent out our outline, talking to the other guests. Everything's going to be great with that. We got a lot of great stuff going on with the show. Of course, our William Ho interview is up now from NHL 20. You can listen to that, and the video will be going up shortly. For that.
Momentarily, actually. When you're listening to this, it's already up. So
yes,
go check it out.
Exactly. It'll be up by the time we're done recording. So, so
minions working for us on that as we speak, which is actually true. I can say that with 100% accuracy. There is someone working on that right now. He will have it up soon. We are here for you. By the way, we are growing in listeners every week, so I just want to tell you, whether it's your first time or 20th time or somewhere in the middle, we really appreciate you listening to this podcast. You listeners are our oxygen. We don't do it without you. So thank you so much. Just wanted to say that at the top.
Yes, no, for sure, very much so. But yes, we've got a great show for you, whether you are new or old, in terms of or a long time, first time. I love that. I love that in radio. But yes, we've got a lot of fallout from D23. We have. Obviously, like we mentioned, we have the new Star Wars trailer. We've got a lot of stuff going on with that. We have the Sony Marvel.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, we have that debate.
Does whatever Sony says he can.
Yes, we've also got a lot of great stuff going on in football right now. Well, great depending on who you ask, I suppose. And then, of course, we have our mashup later in the show. But first, as we just said, Spider-Man is again being torn apart. He's being. It's like that scene from the mid-90s cartoon where he's having that dream, and it's the Spider-Man's version of him and the Venom version of him, literally pulling Peter Parker apart.
Yes.
Except for one is Disney, one is Sony, and as of right now, Disney is probably not going to have Spider-Man in the MCU going forward from this point. Lee. I don't know about you, but I am absolutely crestfallen over this news and cannot and very much not going to probably watch the Sony Spider-Man movies anymore at this point because of this.
Yeah, it's just a head scratcher. I mean, look, we've talked about this before, that Hollywood is insanely out of touch with their audience, and it's not just true of Spider-Man. This is kind of across the board. Marvel, in my opinion, is really actually the only ones who have gotten it right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Disney. I'm saying Marvel, because Disney movies have missed the mark, plenty of times too. Sony is on another plane of existence for screwing things like this up right now. I always give them credit for starting everything. The best thing that's come out of the last week has been the memes with Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield. Those have been pretty funny.
Oh God, the ones about he's like, guys, I got a joke for you. They're like, what is it? He's like, trilogy. And like, we don't get it. He's like, exactly, you don't. It's like, oh my God.
There's been some funny stuff going on, but here's the deal. Okay, like you know how I am. Everyone's talking about this, and I get it. Okay, and we're going to talk about it too. We kind of have to. Okay, I like to try and take a different approach to these things. So this is what I think. I think a lot of this is just almost like politics. It's just political posturing right now.
Yeah.
I think a deal will be worked out of some sort because, and again, there's so many mixed reports about what's actually happening. I am going to read a quote here. This is a quote from Sony on what's going on. Okay, so this is the quote. Much of today's news about Spider-Man has been mischaracterized with recent discussions about Kevin Feige's involvement with the franchise. We are disappointed but respect Disney's decisions not to have him continue as a lead producer of our next live-action Spider-Man film. Okay, then it goes on to say, we hope this might change in the future, but understand that the many new responsibilities that Disney has given him, including all their newly added Marvel properties, do not allow time for him to work on IP they don't own. Kevin is terrific, and we are grateful for his help and guidance and appreciate the path, this is important, that he has helped put us on, which we will continue. Okay, so that last part of this is getting lost in all this. So let's just take a look at what's happening first, okay? So this is a rights battle. It sounds like from this quote, which has been actually completely the opposite from Disney, so nobody knows what the actual truth is here. Kevin Feige actually came out and said he'd love to do Spider-Man, but whatever, right? The point is that it sounds like Sony wants to continue the Tom Holland Spider-Man. Like that's the impression that I'm getting. It's just not going to be in the MCU. Okay. Now, just for the record, I'm not okay with that. That's definitely the lesser of two evils of them rebooting him again, which they will not do. I just think that I can't believe they would do that.
Yeah.
Right. But I also think that I can't remember the exact details of the deal, but like Disney did not profit much from having Spider-Man in the MCU. And I think what they said is they wanted 50% of profits moving forward, which some people they're getting greedy. I'm like, they're not getting greedy. They saved Spider-Man.
Yeah.
My God, come on, man.
As I understand the deal, it was Sony put up the cost of production for the movie and got 95% of the profits. Disney got 5%. But Disney got 100% of the merchandising profits, plus having, obviously, Spider-Man in the MCU. Yeah. Disney was like, we'll pay for half the movie. We'll split production costs with you, but we also want to split revenue with you.
Yeah.
And Sony kind of balked at this, and the thing is that, like you said, Lee, Disney and Feige and Marvel saved Spider-Man after Sony had absolutely destroyed it again.
Let's not say again because Tobey Maguire's wasn't bad. Okay?
The first two for his weren't bad. Obviously, the third one missed the mark.
The third was the worst movie of all time. I'm with you on that. Don't worry, I support you 100%. But I know what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously now the question is like, well, now that you've established this offshoot Venom, are you going to have Venom meet Spider-Man, Tom Holland, Spider-Man?
No.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. But that's the thing, right? Like that's what Sony's wanted. Sony's wanted their own huge Spider-Man universe this whole time.
No, you're not gonna get it.
Yeah, I just think that you have Spider-Man is such an integral part of Marvel, comics.
Ray, let me ask you this question. It was Sony that broke this news, correct? Who was the first one to come out and say that this is happening?
I want to say it was Sony. I think that
so
this is one of those things where it could be a backlash. This was a miscalculation on their part because obviously most of public support has gone the way of Marvel/Disney.
Well, and this is why I'm asking because it's very possible. Like I try and think like these CEOs, execs, right? It's very possible they leak this to see how people would deal with it because, like I said, they're out of touch in my opinion. They might have thought like, well, maybe people won't mind. Like I don't put anything by Hollywood nowadays.
And also, if Disney did this, Disney did this expecting this exact reaction.
Absolutely. So that's why I said the politics involved. Okay,
yeah.
So what I think here is that like this is like the Sonic the Hedgehog. This is way bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
Like people couldn't handle Sonic animated. Like I've never seen this many people say I'm not going to see a movie if Sony releases it. Now here's the thing. People say that about sports all the time, like, well, I'm not going to support the team, but they always go back. I actually don't think people are going to go see a Spider-Man movie by Sony.
No.
Right? And like actually, I don't think they're going to see any superhero films by Sony. They touted Venom as a victory, and I was like, this is not a victory.
No,
it's not.
It made money, but most people hated it. I still haven't seen it. I admit that.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah,
I will say it too. I haven't even seen it. Okay, and the thing is, I'm just talking from a geek standpoint. It was not a winner. Okay, nobody in our circle was like, yeah, you have to see this. No one has told me I have to see that movie.
Yeah, everybody told me. Everybody told me that I made the right decision not seeing that.
Yeah, and if you like, you want to know how good Marvel is at this game? The only movie in the MCU people say you don't have to see is Thor 2, and Endgame made it so now you have to see Thor 2 because they're geniuses. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Okay, but like here's the thing: is it's a horrible miscalculation. Then Stan Lee's family got involved, and I was like, oh, don't do this. And it just went the wrong direction.
They said Stan's favorite Spider-Man was Tom Holland, favorite Spider-Man actor, and
it's just going like, don't do this.
Yeah.
Don't do this, okay? Because here's the truth, okay? The rights to Spider-Man belong to these companies, right?
Right. The movie rights belong.
Spider-Man belongs to us. He doesn't belong to you, okay? He belongs to us. And like I said, I know the corporate side of it. I'm a business owner myself. I get that. The character belongs to us.
Yep.
All right? And you got to give us what we want, or we're not going to help you out. And that's the beautiful part about living here is I am not going to go see a Spider-Man movie unless some sort of deal is worked out. Now, and with that all said, I do believe that these are just opening shots. I do believe they will get back together and they will renegotiate a deal.
For sure.
Right? I think, Disney has all the cards and they know it. Disney is the best. We talked about this before. They are the best storytellers on the planet. There's no one better than them. You want Spider-Man to move on. Now, listen, okay, this is the only thing I'll give Sony. This is the only ground I'll give Sony, is that Spider-Man is probably top 2 franchises in comics, right?
Right.
Like, if not number 1. I mean, when it comes to Marvel, he probably is number 1. Right?
With Marvel, he's probably number 1.
I mean, but he's Superman, Batman level, okay?
Right.
Which is the top, okay? So I get Sony's like, look, this is our asset. I kind of get that, all right? Like, in terms of a money standpoint, I get it. In terms of a like having a brain, all right, what are you doing? Just work the deal out. There's no need to leak this out to the public unless you wanted this battle to be public. The fans have spoken. They're talking about banning or not even. It's not just Spider-Man. Like, I'm not buying a PS4. I've heard people say that.
Yeah, I've heard people are going to start boycotting Sony products in general.
Yeah.
I mean, and also, and this is true. I mean, yes, the past few Spider-Man movies have Venom made a profit or whatever. Like, for the most part, Sony. For the most part, Sony stuff. It's the video games that are keeping them afloat in a lot of ways.
They do good stuff. Like, look, dude, Spider-Verse was a great movie. Like, they do good stuff. I'm strictly talking about live. I should have said that. Live action superhero movies is not their forte anymore.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. There was a time. I'll give them that. Into the Spider-Verse, that's your lane, man. Stay there. You did that right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And guess what? You still own the rights to it because it's Spider-Man. Figure that one out. But I just this is such a horrible thing to take him out of the MCU after, And you remember this, right? I was really critical of him even being in the MCU in the beginning. I was like, I don't like this. I don't like where they're going with it. I'm tired of seeing new Spider-Man. They won me over with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, now he's a part of it.
They did right.
Here's something I'll admit. Spider-Man Homecoming was the first MCU movie I didn't see in a theater. And it's not because I was boycotting. I was just very busy at the time. But, usually it doesn't stop me. But, that tells you, think about it. I didn't go see a Spider-Man film.
Yeah.
Sony thinks I'm going to do that for them now. There's no way, even if they continue with Tom Holland. So, guys, figure it out, work it out. The only glimmer of hope is Guardians of the Galaxy with James Gunn. Like, they were able to figure that out.
Right.
As despicable as the situation was, they figured it out. That's what I think they'll do, and I think Disney knows that. They're like, okay, sure, yeah, we don't need them. Yeah. Which is true. They don't.
No, they have so many other characters.
Yeah.
Like we always say here, folks, vote with your dollars.
Yeah.
That's how you really send the message across. And if it looks like, and if Sony's really, really worried that they're not going to make money off the next Spider-Man movie because of the fallout from this situation, you'll see how fast that they turn tail and they go back to Disney and they work something out. I mean, I think that's really the thing here is that, like you said, Lee, it comes down to these corporate bigwigs. All they think about is dollar and cents. They don't care about us as fans. They care about us spending money on the products that they own.
How about this? Sell his rights. Sell it for $15 billion.
Yeah.
Because I bet you Disney would buy it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I don't know. I just stuff like this kills me. It's like mom and dad arguing or something while the kid watches. There was a couple great memes about that. There was a great somebody took some action figures and had Captain America pulling Iron Man back while Venom had his arms open like Spider-Man. There's a lot of that's the only good thing that comes out of these is that the fans have a sense of humor. But anyway, I don't want to talk about it too much longer. It's despicable. This whole thing is despicable on both parties. The fact that they're doing this. I also want to say that in the grand scheme of life, this is not a priority. But in the geek world, It is.
It's a big priority, yeah.
All right.
But Lee, you did mention obviously Marvel has so many other characters, and we heard a lot of them from the fall. D23 just ended this past weekend. We heard a lot of them are going to be getting a lot of action in the MCU in the next few years.
Yeah, so D23, which was actually, we realized the other foot falling from Comic-Con,
yeah.
which was, here's all the unreleased movies we didn't tell you about.
Yeah. Well, and I want to just say something real quick about that, is that you're seeing this more and more from companies in general, and it's true. Companies don't need E3. Companies don't need Comic-Con. These are things that are celebrations for the fans, and they're nice for us, but you don't need to make a splash at these conventions anymore, because so many of the big companies, you see it with the PlayStation blog and Bethesda blog and Ubi blog, you see it with things like PlayStation Experience, you see it with D23. These companies know they can talk directly to their fans and get the message across more clearly than trying to compete with the noise that comes from a Comic-Con or an E3.
I was going to say PAX is actually a great example. So follow me here, because a lot of these big names are not going to be at PAX because they don't need to be. And what's cool about it is it actually opens up a room for people like us who are invited. And it's also a reason for you to go to PAX if you live in the greater Seattle area. Yeah. But I'm just saying, look, this isn't actually just happening in the comic book world, in the sports world too. Obviously, I go to a lot of hockey events, and the big hockey companies aren't coming anymore because they know they don't necessarily need to be there,
right?
Unless they're asked to be, obviously. But it's one of those things of they figured it out. We're living in an era where you can broadcast your own news, and people have figured it out. And D23 is D20. The Disney thing wasn't a big thing till just a few years ago, really.
Yeah,
you didn't hear about it. I mean, it was a big thing, but you didn't hear about it.
Right, they've had D23 for a while, but in the past few years, because so many announcements and whatnot have been coming from it, it's become it's become a tentpole event on the convention calendar in each summer. So it's a big deal. Same thing like QuakeCon, right? That's the Bethesda convention, right? It's the same thing. But
Disney is so powerful. Disney has so much power. It's incredible. They're doing it right, though. I mean, that's the thing. It's like it's not. I don't want to. It hasn't been abused in my mind. They're doing it right.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Anyway, sorry. D23. Ray, lots of stuff to talk about.
Yes.
D23.
One of the big things, of course, right off the top, Black Panther 2 got announced. Yep. A lot of people were wondering where that was. Well, here it is. May 6th, 2022. To the people who were mad that it's coming, it's going to be 3 years away. Shut up.
Please stop complaining. What are you doing?
It's like, they have so much stuff coming out. Obviously, this movie will play into what's happening, the movies before that. Not to mention, you know what you need to shoot a movie, Lee? You need a script.
Yeah.
You need a script.
Time.
And it's not in time. And it hasn't been. And Ryan Coogler, who is, of course, directed the first Creed, also did the first Black Panther. Ryan Coogler, he hasn't written the script yet. You got to give the dude time to write the script.
Here's the metaphor. It'd be like, Ray, if I told you, Ray, listen, I'm going to give you $10,000 cash in 2022.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to give you $1,000 every month up until then. And you're going, but I want the $10,000 now.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like, no, but there's actually, I'm going to give you $1,000 every single month, and then I'm going to give you $10,000. So you win no matter what.
Right.
But I want the $10,000 now. That's what I'm hearing. So it's like, shut up, man. It's like you're getting unbelievable amounts of releases here. Just be quiet and enjoy the ride, because this will not last forever.
No, there's going to come a point where, I mean, it's great that we've got Disney Plus coming now, and we have all these amazing shows. Like, we've got the first Mandalorian trailer, which, oh my God, looks amazing. Yeah, oh, yes.
Finally, Star Wars got me excited about something.
Yes, so cannot wait for that. But we also got announcements for a Moon Knight TV show, which I have no clue how that's going to work.
Psycho Batman.
Yeah, exactly. You've got She-Hulk, which I can't wait to see what they do with that. You've got Ms. Marvel that was announced. Not to mention everything we got at Comic-Con. You've got literally a dozen TV shows, a half dozen movies, just to get us through 2022. Yeah,
big news too that they did announce that the shows will be premiering weekly, not Netflix style all at once.
Right.
Which is actually the right way to do something like this, because these are cinematic level events. Not to mention, they don't want you binging them. They want to string you along, because I have a feeling they're going to go in hand with the movies too, and they're thinking that.
Yeah.
Is that I wouldn't be surprised if like right before a movie, the week before it premieres, the episode's going to have something to do with a movie or something like that. I can see them doing something like that.
Yeah.
But Yeah, there's just like this is one of those things like don't get greedy.
Yeah.
Like enjoy it. Okay, because here's the thing, like the concern I have is this too much, right? Like we talked about this before the podcast. Like Moon Knight's not exactly a popular character. For those of you who don't know, Moon Knight is essentially a Batman in Marvel, but he's insane.
Yeah.
You could make the argument that Batman's insane too, but Moon Knight, She-Hulk,
level,
yeah. We don't. You can look up Moonlight. You can look it up. All right, he's a cool character. He's got a cool costume too.
I love his design is actually one of the best in comics, I think.
Yeah,
like,
it's very cool. So definitely just look up the wiki on Moon Knight. Just get an idea because we don't know what Moon Knight we're gonna see. She-Hulk, we think Mark Ruffalo will obviously have something to do with that.
They'll do the blood transfusion storyline.
Yeah, because you can't just make a Hulk film without him, I guess, unless they just allude that she's a lab nerd and find something. I don't know, but they'll do something with that. Black Panther 2, I'm not going to even speculate about. As you said, there's no script. It'll go along. I'm sure he's going to be heavily involved in the Avengers when that comes back.
Yep.
But yeah. Also the Eternals cast was there, right? So all the
Yes.
Eternals were there. There's a lot of rumors surrounding Kit Harington
As the Black Knight, yeah.
Well, I've heard that, and I'm also hearing Wolverine. So there's a lot of rumors now about him, but he's going to be involved in the MCU.
Yep.
Which is like a rite of passage now, I guess, for everybody. I want to say there was one more Marvel thing, but I can't remember what it was. But I know the Eternals. So Miss Marvel. Let's talk about that real quick because people don't know that story.
Yeah.
Really interesting character. Can change the shape of her body. I mean, there's like a lot of things that she can do.
This Ms. Marvel is actually technically kind of like an Inhuman. Like she got in some story. To my knowledge, she got exposed to Terrigen mists. But like you said, she's a polymorph. She can kind of like Mr. Fantastic stretch and kind of grow and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So, and she's the first Muslim hero that'll be in the MCU, which is a big deal.
Not to be confused with Captain Marvel. These are very separate characters. I want to make sure I say that. The other thing too, there was a lot of animated series stuff released. I just want to tap on real quick. Like a lot of Young Avengers type stuff. I think something called The Freshman's coming out. So just keep an eye on that. There's just a ton of content. And like I said, we also got to, I don't know if this was D23, but we got a first look at some gameplay from the new Avengers video game coming out.
Yes,
Thor, which looked unbelievable. It looked unbelievable. It looked like Arkham Asylum.
It looked
but
a
with
lot.
the Avengers.
It looked a lot better than what we saw at E3.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Better. Yeah, Travis Willingham playing Thor. They basically got the Avengers. I think we mentioned this, the Avengers of voice acting to play most of the cast there. So Travis,
but they don't look like the movie Avengers, Ray, and that ruins it for us.
Yeah.
If you're one of those people, please let us know why that has to be a prerequisite for you to play this game.
Yeah.
Okay, please let me know why it has to look like Chris Hemsworth for you to play this game.
Yeah, that'd be like saying that Arkham Asylum Batman needed to look like the animated series Batman because Kevin Conroy was doing the voice.
I don't get arguments like that. It's like, listen, I know this is tough for some people. There was a Captain America before Chris Evans.
Yeah. Ooh.
And there was definitely Iron Man before. Well, okay, maybe Robert Downey Jr. really did kind of make Iron Man, but you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah. That's very rare.
David Hasselhoff was Nick Fury, folks.
Yeah.
I mean, that happened.
I just assume people know that, but you're right. If you didn't know that, David Hasselhoff has an eye patch on, and it's really, really bad.
Yeah.
Check it out. Check it out. Yeah. All right. So I could say that Nick Fury has been reborn.
Yeah.
With Samuel L. Jackson. Okay, there's very few characters that could pull that off. But anyway, I do want to switch gears if that's okay. I do want to talk about Star Wars for a minute.
Yeah.
As we are speaking, today is the 26th of August. I think today is August 26th.
Monday, August 26th.
Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. The second trailer hit today, and I am underwhelmed, which is something I never say about Star Wars. Okay, so here's the thing. I will admit this. It was a D23 reel. So I think they were catering to that audience. So the first minute of the trailer is just old movies leading up to the new movie,
which is pretty standard at this point for a lot of
people. I just was like, come on, like I don't want to. like you don't because what you know what they're doing? They're trying to reel you back in. Like, look, we know you hated the last movie.
Yeah,
we know you. Please remember. Like, I don't need you to write. I'm saying this to Disney. I don't need you to remind me how much I love Star Wars. I do. Yeah. You ruined it. I don't need you to remind me that I loved it at one point. Yeah, you blew you blew it big time in the last movie. Okay, like I've told Ray before, I wanted to reserve judgment, but like I haven't really watched that movie more than 3 or 4 times, which is not normal for me with a Star Wars movie. And it's just like, it doesn't go anywhere. And I do think that the new movie will pack it in there in a way that makes it make more sense.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's what we got in the trailer, okay? Is we got some really cool shots of Rey and Kylo Ren fighting, like in the ocean. So really epic, like, you know, Force shots. You hear the Emperor speaking. All right, you hear Luke again saying, 1,000 generations, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you know, like, so, like, it's the same stuff. And then there's the shot at the end. Now, follow me. There's a shot at the end of Rey.
Yeah.
With 2 red lightsabers, clearly in, like, a Sith environment. That she is dark. All right? Now, here's the thing. J.J. Abrams, I love you, but I have learned never to trust your trailers for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. I know what I saw. I'm not saying that something like that's not going to happen in the movie. I just know whatever I saw is not what's happening in the movie in terms of it's probably completely taken out of context.
It could be a Force vision
Force
kind of
vision,
thing. Yeah.
Could be here undercover. I'm not buying it. So here's the thing I'm saying about Star Wars. The first trailer was really good, okay? It did get me excited.
Yeah.
But like I am very much in damage mode right now, and my attitude is like I am not going to get myself overwhelmed about this movie until I see the movie. All right? And when I see the movie, I want to come out of that theater with my hands in the air. This is it. You finally did it again. I feel good. Like it's back. You fixed it again, right? People who hated The Force Awakens, I think you're to blame for the second movie being the way it was.
Yeah.
All right, because I thought The Force Awakens was a great film. I thought it was a great film. I don't care that it copied the other movies. I didn't care. It was good. Okay, and then it's like when the second one came out. I'm having problems remembering the name of it right now. That's how bad this is. Jeez.
The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi. Think about how bad that is, okay?
I had to take a second, too.
Yeah,
to be like, oh, wait a minute.
Think about it, right? Last Jedi comes out, and I remember I was telling people, I was like, is this what you wanted? Are you happy now what you said about The Force Awakens? Because this is what they made us. They literally threw a lightsaber over his head to show us that it wasn't going to be good anymore. Anyway, I'm going to segue out of this, but like, listen, Rise of Skywalker, I am going to see it. I will pay to see it. Please let me leave the theater feeling great about Star Wars again. That's all I really want out of this. I just again my quick thoughts on what I want to happen in that movie. And I've been saying this, Ray, since The Force Awakens. I do want to see a Kylo Rey crisscross from the light side to the dark side and the dark side to the light side. I think that would be a really cool element to the movie.
Yeah.
And then it ends with both of them being the new whatever. We'll call them Skywalkers, right?
Right.
But some sort of hybrid between Sith and Jedi, and I would love it if that series left off not open-ended, but with a future of there are no Sith and Jedi, and it's kind of open to interpretation.
There's just Force users.
Right?
There's just Force
yeah,
users.
I don't want full closure on Star Wars. That would kill me. With that said, the next segue I have to talk about, which is more exciting than that movie, is Obi-Wan Kenobi's TV show coming to Disney Plus with Ewan McGregor, which is going to be great. I can already tell you that. Along with The Mandalorian, I think Disney Plus is actually going to save Star Wars, and it's finally going to be the completion, this is funny when you think about it, of Star Wars from movies to television, which has never fully happened. Animated series have had a really great impact, but they've always been for a younger audience. I think this is the first time. The reason that's important, and this is always funny because people don't realize, the reason that was important, the big distinction between Star Wars and Star Trek for so long was Star Wars was a film and Star Trek was a TV show. Right? And now you're seeing that kind of, not flip, but Star Wars will join Disney Plus. Very excited to see when that story takes place. I'm sure it'll be on Tatooine. I'm sure it'll be like his later years.
We know that'll be Obi-Wan's home base will be Tatooine.
Sure. And I think there's going to be a lot. They could very easily tie in Solo's storyline to this, right? Without making another Solo storyline. They could very much tie in Rey's story to this. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do in that time period.
Yeah.
The last note I'm going to say about this is that I'm very excited to see how all of it, the films and the TV shows, I have a feeling they're going to tie in the prequels to these elements. And I think they're going to do it in a way that's going to make me respect the prequels. In terms of the canon of the prequels, not the acting.
Yeah, no, of course. But
that's just like the canon.
Like you said, there's an 18 to 20 year gap there in Star Wars between episodes 3 and 4 that's just rich and ripe for storytelling. I mean, you could very easily have Vader becoming Vader, in the background while all this is happening.
There are great comics and books from that period, like really good. So what I hope is this, Ray, just on your point, is I hope that from a TV standpoint or from Disney Plus standpoint, I would love for them to focus a lot on that time from Revenge of the Sith to A New Hope. I would really love to see that time focused on television. And then cinematically, I actually hope they get away from that. And I hope they go to different Star Wars stories like Knights of the Old Republic, or just go to a different place in the Star Wars universe, because I don't need more movies at this point, unless you're going to do stuff like Rogue One. You know what I mean? There should be one-offs. Yeah. So anyway, I'm a huge Star Wars guy. That was the cool thing about D23 for me.
Yeah, there was also the hotel, the Galactic Republic ship hotel that they're going to do, that they've announced now at Disney as a Star Wars themed hotel. And there was also the Avengers campus that's being added to Disney California Adventure.
We did talk about that.
To bring a close to everything, that there was those were the last big announcements at D23, is of course being added more to the Disney parks is a new Star Wars themed hotel, and Disney California Adventure, the Avengers
Recruitment Center.
Yes. Yeah. So that's very exciting. I mean, it's just Disney. This was a really big D23. They came out swinging. Disney did. They hit every note for every fan. Whether you love the theme parks, the movies, the TV shows, whatever it was, they know they had to be strong going into the launch of Disney Plus this fall. And boy howdy, were they strong like with this show. So
it's like Disney came out there. It was like the beginning of Avengers, not Endgame. Oh my God, I'm blanking on names today. The one before it. Infinity War. Wow, that's just so obvious. It's like Disney was like, I know what it's like.
I thought I was the one who hasn't been sleeping.
Yeah, well, maybe it's me, man. I've got kids.
But
they like Thanos in the beginning of the movie to Sony. Like, I know what it's like to lose, to feel so sure that you're going to win, but to lose in the end all the same. Turns the legs to jelly. Yeah. They are powerful right now. This may be the height of Disney's power in the history of the company.
Yeah,
I've never seen anything like this, and they're doing it right. That's the thing that I love, at least on the surface. They have not done anything that's made me hate them. Sony, on the other hand, has done plenty.
Yes. Oh goodness, but. Speaking of guys who have done things to make us hate them,
I was hoping you'd grab onto that. I threw the rod in the water, Ray, and you bit it.
There we go. Transitioning now to the sports world. If you've been listening to the last few episodes of Geeks Who Like Sports, Lee and I have been very vocal about our displeasure with Antonio Brown and his entire situation with the Raiders, and how much of a toxic element he seems to have been to that team. That drama seems to have finally come to an end. He has lost
of us, because he clearly listens to the show.
Clearly, he is a huge fan of Geeks Who Like Sports. He too is a geek, and he too obviously likes sports. His second appeal was shot down by the NFL. He will not be given a 1-year grace period with his old helmet. He has reported to Raiders training camp. Hopefully, he will be able to get into shape in time for the start of the season. If not, the fact that the Raiders can hopefully put this behind them by the end of the preseason, we've got only a few days left in the preseason now, is good for the team. It is good that this situation has come to an end. It was just a bad look for him. It was a very bad look for him overall.
Horrible. Stupid.
Yeah, it was bad for the Raiders, and typically the Raiders like having a bad look because that's kind of their MO historically. But even they didn't. This is a bad dramatic
distraction.
Look. Yeah,
if you want our thoughts, like everything we said on last week's podcast is still very relevant. So if you actually want our thoughts on that, check that out. Ray, I will tell you this: that your little kind of conspiracy theory that this all might have been a cover up because of his feet being hurt.
Yeah,
I told that to a few people and really got people thinking. So we'll never know, but I'm wondering if that's a good point. So again, if you didn't hear last week's episode, Ray pretty much said that he had cryotherapy on his feet and really messed his feet up, and this might have been actually a cover up to kind of keep him. But it's funny because you know how it ended? He got a sponsorship deal with a helmet company, so he banked on it. Here's the thing again, and we said this last week. Once the season starts, no one will care. As soon as he catches his first touchdown, no one will care. And this is just stupid off-season news. Yeah. The more, if you don't mind me segueing, the more important off-season news is Andrew Luck retiring earlier this week. Shockingly retiring, I will say. Yeah. Which has sent shockwaves through the media world of a bunch of morons who don't know what they're talking about, which Ray's going to get into in a minute. Yeah. But also the sports world making a statement. Very emotional, actually, when he was doing it. You could see that this was the end of his dream. Very humble at the same time, like not not saying he like had a hard life or anything like that, but
No.
Yeah, Ray, why don't you jump into it? He is out with the Colts. Colts are going to have to figure that out.
Yeah,
and,
right now it looks like Jacoby Brissett is going to be the guy, at least going forward.
Yeah.
If you're a team that has 3 or 4 quarterbacks and you don't know what to do, the Colts might be looking for a trade. I will be saying that much.
I will just let you know that the Eagles are out of quarterbacks. We don't have anyone to give away right now.
Actually,
we're down to 1 again.
Actually, the Giants have 4 quarterbacks. They might send over Alex Tanay or something for a
you need all the help you can get. So they're not going to send them to us. So go ahead.
Yeah. So, so anybody with a bevy of quarterbacks, even if they're a couple, second or third string level, you might be able to get yourself a draft pick for them with the Colts right now. But yes, the big story, Andrew Luck. Basically said it the past 4 years he's been hurt, in pain, rehabbing, playing, getting hurt again, rehabbing, in pain. It's tough. Been this vicious cycle, and the dude, if you look at the 6 years that he's played, the quarterback he's most comparable to is Dan Marino. That says something.
That's high praise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of numbers, in terms of play, everybody loves this guy. Obviously, though, just couldn't stay on the field. And honestly, I will say this. And it's not about the money. Dude left $58 million on the table, still on his current contract with the Colts. The Colts very graciously said that he doesn't have to give back his signing bonus, which was something they could have done under current NFLPA rules. But they very graciously understood why he was doing this. If he had to give the money back, I would say his offensive line should have had to pay it, because those are the big reasons why these guys got banged up. I mean, if you look, I will say this: nobody should be more embarrassed and more saddened by this right now than Andrew Luck's offensive line, because you can do a direct correlation. Terrible offensive line play to his injuries.
Yeah, this is something Eli Manning knows a little bit about too. That's not a burn.
Eli, all
right. That's not a burn. That's fact.
Yes, that is fact.
Okay.
Yes, offensive line is a very underrated position in football, and it shows why you need a good one. But it's heartbreaking, and for the most part, people have been very supportive of Andrew. The dude, obviously. He's a good dude. He's a guy who has fun, who loves the game of football. His whole thing with being a Civil War general last year during the playoffs was hysterical. He's one of the good athletes, right? Like we focus on in society the athletes who do everything wrong, and it's very easy to do that. But he's one of the guys who's done everything right and tried his best in his unfortunately truncated career. And for those who have come out detracting him, first off, to the Colts fans who booed him as they left the third preseason game, as he left the field for the final time, you are despicable.
In a preseason game.
Yes.
In a preseason game.
It is.
Come on.
It is sickening that you would think. I'm sorry that your fantasy team is ruined because Andrew Luck isn't playing. I'm sorry. Like, you have to think and put things in perspective and think of the bigger picture. This dude's life could if he kept playing, this dude's life could have been ruined after football. I mean, we talk.
It may already be. We don't know. Here's the thing: is that. And this is what's going to happen, Ray, because you and I have been through this dance. We're saying this, and then I'm going to hear this, Eagles fans and the Giants fans are horrible too. Yeah, we suck too. You know what? I call the Eagles fans out when they suck, and we suck a lot. Doesn't excuse any other fan base. It's a preseason game. Yeah. Guy's literally given his body. Stuff like this really, again, this is the coach in me coming out. It's just like, that stuff kills me. It kills me.
I mean, in his goodbye, and it just was the most heartbreaking thing. And now I want to get into the person, the worst person who comes out criticizing Andrew Luck is a guy by the name of Doug Gottlieb. If you don't know who he is, he's a host on Fox Sports, used to host for ESPN, and is honestly one of the worst human beings in the sports world, like generally. And I'll get into that later. But he tweeted. Retiring cause rehabbing is too hard is the most millennial thing ever. Hashtag Andrew Luck. Dude, screw you. Yeah. Like, how dare you come off and saying this. And by the way, I love Torrey Smith. There's been a lot of responses again in favor of Andrew Luck. Troy Aikman, who I don't normally agree with, came out very much in defense of Andrew Luck. And
can I read his response? Can I read his response?
Yes, read Troy's response, and I'll get to Torrey Smith's response. Yes,
I do have to preface this. This is a former Dallas Cowboy that wreaked havoc on the Giants and Eagles, which are Ray and I's teams, and we are completely arm in arm with him on this. Okay?
Yes.
If you have young kids in the room, send them out. He says, this is Troy Aikman, okay? That's total bullshit, Doug. What qualifies you to decide how someone should live their life? So now you're the authority on what motivates Andrew Luck, and if his decisions don't fit into what you think is best for him, then you rip him? Guess that keeps you employed at FS1. Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh. And then I'm looking at this tweet. This is actually from our friend Ray. He retweeted it. Yeah. And I'm looking at the Aikman tweet. The first thing is Stone Cold stunning The Rock.
Yeah,
it says, by God, King Aikman just flat out tweet murdered Gottlieb, and his God is my witness. I've never seen anything more savage. And this is a good Rock reaction. The Rock always reacts
oversold the stunners, bouncing across the ring.
He flew. Listen, he's like a basketball height on this one. I'm watching it right now. Anyway,
it's so
Aikman.
good. And of course, Torrey Smith, current wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers. To Doug Gottlieb, you stole credit cards because working was too hard. Now, for those who don't know, Doug Gottlieb, this is the kind of despicable human being that Doug Gottlieb. When Doug Gottlieb was a basketball player at Notre Dame in college, he stole his teammate's credit card and racked up $1,000 on it, and it was expelled from Notre Dame for that. Now he ended up transferring to Oklahoma State and played there. But then when he was at Oklahoma State, this is the guy who called out his coach for a DUI, saying my coach should be fired because he had a DUI. So again, this is the kind of guy, and also even at ESPN, this is the kind of guy who, when the execs were in the room, whenever they would bend over looking for somebody to kiss their butt, this was the guy who stuck his head so far up their butts he could tell you what they had for breakfast. All right.
Yeah, he's made a living on doing stuff like this, and the sad part is he's getting a lot of, including us, he's getting a lot of press because of what he said. Yeah. But the cool thing is seeing the football world come together. And look, man, he's not this is pretty low. I mean, I've seen some sportscasters do some pretty low stuff.
Yeah.
All right, but this is pretty bad. And here's what I'll say. Okay, and I don't usually talk about this. All right, I had a very, very short pro career, very short, not even at the NHL, okay? And I can tell you right now, I'm feeling it. I have back problems. I have a foot problem. I've had a surgery those are aching every morning. And I'll tell you this, I didn't even make it. You know what I mean? I didn't even make it. This guy is you know what I think about right now, Ray? And this has got to be what Luck's thinking about. I think about this. Am I going to be able to run with my kids in 10 years?
Yeah.
I think about, I got to get out of bed, and it takes me a long time to get out of bed in the morning, just because I got to get my body kind of going, right? Because of the pain. I'm not complaining. I don't even think I'm complaining. It's just it takes a while. I've sustained a lot of injuries, and I've had concussions, and it's I get out of bed, and it's man, can I pick up my daughter today? Those are the things you start thinking about, okay? And there was one point that some of my stuff got so bad, I could barely walk, and I was starting to think, I shouldn't play ever again. Because I'm not gonna be able to walk with my kids.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you right now, I got all that fixed, obviously, but your brain goes to these places. This dude's been destroyed. His body is destroyed.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, he's waking up thinking, what kind of a father am I gonna be in 10 years? Right? I have all the money I need to survive. I love this game. I've given it everything I can, but I cannot move forward. Not to mention the depression that would come with it, potential CTE. Which is always with every NFL player now. Mm-hmm. Not to mention just the baggage that comes along with it. He doesn't want it anymore. All right? And what I'm saying to you is his not wanting that is big enough for him to not want to play football. Yeah. So he is probably in a lot of pain.
Yeah. Well, that's
physically,
that's
mentally,
just it. He
emotionally.
Clearly still wants to play football, but like you said, Lee, the desire to not be in pain anymore or to not add to the pain has now taken over his desire to keep playing football.
Now, people will also say, well, he should have made that decision before the season, and hey, go quit your job today.
Yeah,
just go quit your job. That's what you're asking someone to do. He had time to think about it. He probably fully intended on playing this year. He probably was getting himself ready to go, and he just can't do it. I've seen this in other sports where guys retire. They just can't get to the level they want to be at. And what do you want him to do? You want to play at a level that's below his best? Is that what you want? And what are you going to do to him if he does? You're going to criticize him. Should he have to deal with that if he doesn't want to play? So again, I take a lot of athletic player and coaching sides with this, but He's not quitting. Okay, he's not quitting on you. He's retiring, and he's picking his family over football, which is the right decision always.
Yeah.
Okay, always.
Yeah.
So, shame on Gottlieb for saying that stupid thing, and
I mean,
power to guys like Aikman and everybody else for standing up for the guy.
The Giant safety Antoine Bethea did the same thing. Played for a couple of years with Luck at the beginning of his career. Basically said, you got to put yourself first because nobody else is going to in this business.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this again. I barely played and I'm in pain.
Yeah.
Okay, it's manageable. No one should feel bad for me about this. I'm just saying, like, I barely played and I feel it.
Yeah.
This guy's get hit by people every day for the last how many years? He's making a decision, all right? And it was like if you haven't seen his retirement speech, watch it. You'll know he's not making this decision lightly. It hurts. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, when I stopped playing at that level, it was unbelievably painful. It was a hard time to make the decision to walk away. And the funny thing is, I was still involved in the sport. I was coaching right away.
Yeah.
All right. And that first year coaching was one of the hardest years of my life because I couldn't play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That it hurt. But you get past it. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know. And then the millennial comments. Screw you.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of this millennial crap. Like, give me a break. Stop labeling generations.
Yeah.
Okay. Ray and I are older millennials, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay, we're older millennials.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, Gottlieb's not that much older than we are.
He just wants a soundbite, man. Let's stop talking about him.
I mean, that's the thing.
That's what he wants.
I mean, look, there's a reason why this guy's no longer at ESPN, right? He's at Fox. He's trying to resurrect his career at Fox Sports 1 because he's a bum. He's terrible at what he does. But again, look,
How does he get that job? That's the thing I started thinking. How does a guy like that get the job?
Because, dude, like I said before, he kisses people's butts and then he stabs them in the back with the first chance he gets. I've seen people like him my whole career. He is a guy who has somehow failed upwards or had something on somebody because that's the kind of human being he is. He's not only a bad broadcaster, he's a bad dude.
Yeah, well, we're not going to do it that way, you and me. We're going to the top on our own.
Exactly.
Rocket powered. You're taking us there, people. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll say this. I think I may hate Joe Buck less than Doug Gottlieb.
No, I'll say it.
Yeah.
I mean, look. Buck has standards.
Yeah, Buck's
right?
Buck's a bad broadcaster, but I don't think he's a bad dude.
Yeah, as much as people tease him, like he has standards. He believes in his craft. Okay, he's not going behind anybody's back. Mm-hmm. You can make all the jokes about who his dad was all you want, but he's got standards. Like, you know what you're gonna get with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this guy should be blackballed from media. And, hopefully he just did it. I wouldn't talk to him if I was a player.
No, and this isn't the first time something like this has happened. Like, I mean, he a few years ago, he started spreading rumors about Roy Williams at North Carolina. Soundbite.
And people wonder why the athletes are going to report their own news. You wonder it. Tiger Woods is the smartest guy alive for doing that.
Yep.
You wonder why the Athletic is a big deal. Because they don't want to trust you anymore.
Yeah.
The only guy they trust is Jay Glazer. It's just like,
you know what
I mean? He does his own thing.
Because they know Jay Glazer ain't going to screw him over.
Yeah. So anyway, it despicable on him. Andrew Luck, best of luck moving forward with your life and your career and whatever
you do next with your life, whether it's coaching or broadcasting or doing something completely different from football and just enjoying your time with your kids. Best of luck to you, dude.
Yeah, being a dad, good luck. Best job in the world.
Yep. So
there's no easy segue here.
Yeah. So speaking of retiring.
There you go. Sure.
We're gonna go to our mashup now, and we're gonna talk about we're gonna take the comic book world, the video game world, and we're gonna mash it together with obviously Andrew Luck's retirement. We're going to as this is devastating, obviously not only for football fans but for the Colts as well. They're gonna have to. Basically it's an emergency rebuild now in a way for this team. So we kind of want to talk about what geek characters would we hate to see retire suddenly, whether it's in games or in comics. And Lee, you're gonna kick us off because you said you got a really good one. So what do you got up there? And it has to not be like a cornerstone character, right? So it can't be like Batman or Superman. It can't be Mario or Sonic. It's got to be a different character.
Can't be Spider-Man. Can't be Iron Man. Can't be like you said, a cornerstone. So I thought of one. It's funny because I thought a lot about this and I went all over the geek world to do this, and then it came back to one that's fairly obvious. When I say it, it's going to be like, oh, yeah, of course. But it's like, people don't think this. But I'll tell you who it is right now. It's Ant-Man. It's Ant-Man. Because here's the thing. If he retires early, everyone's still dead, at least in the MCU.
In the MCU.
Okay? Here's the thing. I like the kind of jabbing at him in Endgame, but here's the truth. And he is actually the hero of Endgame.
Yeah.
All right? If he doesn't come back, they don't go back in time. They don't fix anything. So if Ant-Man retired, that would be tough on the Avengers here, at least in that storyline.
Yeah.
All right. Not to mention the Pym particle has obviously become something very important. So my pick for right from the start is Ant-Man. If he retired early, Avengers are screwed. There's not another guy with that superpower outside Hank Pym, and he ain't helping us Stark, as we know. So Ant-Man. I also want to add in as someone who did retire too early that we don't talk about, Mauser from Mario Brothers 2.
Oh, yeah.
And pretty much every character in that game retired before their time, coming back once in a while in maybe Mario Kart. Or Super Smash Brothers, but yeah, honestly, Ray, I think Ant-Man's a good pick.
I agree. I do think I think that's a very, very solid pick. For me, I went to the video game realm, and it's tough because he's kind of on that borderline of being a cornerstone character, right? Like, but for me, it's Marcus Phoenix for Gears of War.
Oh, yeah.
Because for me, that's become one of my favorite franchises in games. It was a big deal for the Xbox 360, but of course, when you think Microsoft, and you think what really launched Xbox, it's Master Chief is the cornerstone, right? With Halo.
Yeah.
I think Marcus Phoenix is that second punch that came later, that second big character. For me, Marcus Phoenix is one of those characters that I would hate to see go, because for me, Gears of War has become, honestly, I think my favorite franchise in games. And so obviously without that, even though, and again, it's a Microsoft exclusive, I don't think that Gears of War has transcended pop culture the way Master Chief has, or the way Mario has, or Sonic has, or whatnot. But I think Gears of War is a AAA title, but I don't think it's that cornerstone. I think Marcus Phoenix.
No, that's fair.
Guy.
There's some other ones I'm thinking about too. So like some of these are kind of happened. Like if we move to Star Wars, Obi-Wan kind of retired too early.
Yeah.
he had a huge comeback, in his later years.
Yeah.
Only to be retired early again. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
So he might win the award here he retired twice.
Yes.
Literally.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he's going to retire again.
Yeah, exactly. he's gonna have.
Can't stop retiring him. Yeah.
Yeah. You just gotta pull him back, right? Because
I think that's a good one. I think Darth Maul's another good one. They retired him a little bit too early.
Yeah, definitely.
Now they did bring him back in a lot of extended universe stuff, including, well, I won't spoil that movie, but he is still around. That's what I'll say. He's at large in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what like I was thinking of it before. These are funny, but they're not strong enough. But like Star Trek, like anyone but Jean-Luc Picard in Star Trek: The Next Generation would have retired too early.
Yeah.
That shows you how much he survived on that cast. But we did comics, right? We did movies and we did games. So we got someone from each. But we want to know what you think, obviously.
Yes.
All right. Yes. So if you're watching this on Facebook, make sure you comment below with someone who has or would hurt someone if they retired too early from the geek realm of reality, as I call it.
Yes.
As I look into the distance.
Yeah.
Long pause.
Yeah, so let us know what you guys think, obviously, below. Please comment. We love hearing from you guys. Reach out to Geeks Who Like Sports at gmail.com. Also, of course, stay tuned. The next episode will be what we record live from PAX
Friday.
West. Yeah. So we'll be recording it this Friday. It'll probably air a little after that. Or it'll go up to SoundCloud and iTunes and all that stuff. But obviously, if you wanna be most up to date with Geeks Who Like Sports, be there live 9:30 p.m. this Friday night in Seattle. If you're in the Seattle area,
we expect you to drive from Pennsylvania, New York, wherever you are in the planet. If you're listening to this, you better be at Seattle, or we will stop listening to you. Okay, guys, do you remember when I said that thing about stopping to listen to you? I was lying.
Yeah, that's not true.
Okay, we love you.
Yeah.
Way back then. No, go ahead. Sorry.
So be sure to obviously, and of course, listen to us on iTunes, Google Play, wherever podcast you can hear podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio. There's a whole list.
You can go to geekswholikesports.com and see a whole list of them.
Yes, exactly.
We have a website now.
We're adding a lot of great stuff to the we're adding a lot of great stuff to the site. We obviously, I did a video game review last week. I'm going to do another one this week.
Awesome.
Also, we have the William Ho interview from NHL 20. So we're still in aggressive expansion mode, folks, but we still need you guys to help out. We cherish your support. It means the world to us. We really do appreciate it. And yeah, just keep sharing with your friends, telling everybody where they can listen to us if they're looking for just a couple of guys talking about sports and geek stuff. Just a couple guys, whatever. But so I think that we're done a little early this week, Lee. Look at that. How about that?
It happens. We'll probably have 5,000 more listeners now.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, hopefully, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you guys so much for listening. For Lee, I'm Ray. This has been Geeks Who Like Sports, episode number 20. We will talk to you in Seattle. See you, everybody.